The following program is rated TV-17, containing bad language.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Sexual situations.
Would you like me to take your pants off instead?
Nudity.
Sure.
And graphic depictions of nut-crunching dick kicks.
Oh, I just had to kick you in the diddly again.
Parental discretion is advised.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. Just face the music, you're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You got termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Well, given the choice between the two of you, I would take the seasick crocodile. Mr. Grinch, you're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks and your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The three best words I would use to describe you are as follows, and I quote: Stag! 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 Yeah! Oh, yeah, yeah!
All right, welcome everybody to the Ronin Joe Show. It is the start of Christmas season, so you get that badass rendition of the Grinch, as you do every single year. Great to see you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about Stranger Things with my best friend Sean from Ott and Stuff, jumping on here very shortly as well. So, hey, let's go. Episode 33 of the Ronin Joe Show. Let's get it on. That's right. It is the Ronin Joe Show. I am your host, Ronin Joe. Welcome, everybody, to the start of a beautiful, beautiful week. And why is it beautiful? Let me tell you guys why it is so damn beautiful. Because today, the Carolina Panthers beat the Los Angeles? Are they back in Los Angeles? Los Angeles Rams, which makes my Chicago Bears the number one spot in the NFC. That's right. My Bears, bear down, Chicago Bears, number one in the NFC, going into a giant game against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. It's going to be amazing. Such a great season. So I am having a fantastic time here at number one. I'm going to share that here with you guys as well. Hope you're doing well. Let me get you guys on the screen here. There you are. There you are. All right, let me jump in here. We got the Beam Pad first, second, and third, he says. Well, welcome to Beam Pad. Thank you for being first, my friend. That makes you number one in my heart and number one in the chat. And you are.
You're number one.
Yes, you are. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. We also have Paulus Arts in the house. Hail. Hail to you, brother. Mark Penguin says, I'm waiting until the final episode drops to watch them all in a row. It's not a bad way to do it. Not a bad way to do it. I know Netflix does this thing where they're breaking them up now, so you can't just jump in, get your week free, and then jump out, as a lot of people were doing. Smart way of doing it. You know? Mo Biggs is in the house.
Hey, Mo! Mo! What? I finished the drawer. What do you want me to do, kiss you? Well, go on, put it over there.
If only it was that kind of a show. Shout out to you, Mo. Hope all is well. Bassmaster Dan's in the house and said, if I don't make it, have a great show, Joe. Hail the chat. Hit the like button. Yes, please do. Subscribe, share, hit the like button, do all that stuff. I appreciate you guys very much. Scribe Comics is in the house. Says, hail. Hail to you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Who did I not say hi to yet? All right, we got Sammy. What's going on? It says, evening all. Good to see you, man. What else do we got? Did I say hi better? Bean Pat, say hi to you. Good to see you again. Ace, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Let's see. Duck Bacon. There we go. I was just talking about you the other day, Duck. I hadn't seen you in the chat in a second. I was hoping all was going good with you. Member of the channel, of course, guys. First members in the chat. Get this.
What are you doing up
Oh my God! I'm sorry! I can't stop coming! I'm sorry! Oh, it feels so good!
You know, it feels so good to have the members in the chat tonight. We also have Christopher Rashad in the house. What's going on? It says, hello, Joe and Sean. Hello to you. Hello to you. What do you got? Joe's not here to cause no trouble. He's just here to do the Super Bowl shuffle. That is true. And brag a little bit. But that, you know what's going on, Mo Biggs. You know how to get to my heart, and that's how you do it. Right there. All right, let me bring my co-host on for tonight, Sean Aaron. What's going on, man?
Doing good, brother. Had a great Thanksgiving. I'm still stuffed from a couple of days of eating like a king.
Yes.
Last weekend, doing good. Getting ready to start this week off on fire. And yeah, how about you?
I am doing fantastic. Fantastic, really. It's been a really good weekend. Thanksgiving weekend was great. Lots of great food, family, friends, all that good stuff. Yeah, and here we are to kickstart the week off on the Ronin Joe Show. And you know what? Stranger Things dropped on, what was that, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, because we decided not to stream.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. That's right. We're going to stream Wednesday. We decided not to stream on Wednesday because we wanted to check out Stranger Things. And I'm glad we did. It was pretty badass. I think it took us a couple days. We knocked that out.
Mm-hmm.
And now looking forward to the second part of Season 5. We're going to jump into that and talk about that in just a second. Guys, before you do, if you're in here, please hit the like button, subscribe, share this out, let people know that we are live. And I want to tell you a little bit about, if I can find it. There it is. A little bit about the leaderboard. Now, if you guys missed the Spawn review, was it the Spawn review? Tuesday Spawn review, then you guys missed a very historic night, very humbling night where a lot of you guys came out, sent a lot of super chats. I think we collected over $250 in super chats, and that was all to help me purchase a new computer. Well, I gotta say, that was a giant, what would you say?
gift.
down payment. It was a gift, yes, but it's going to be used. It's a giant down payment on the computer that I want to get. And actually, it almost got halfway there to the computer itself. So thank you so much. Very humble that people came out and supported me financially in that way. And yes, I'm on the way to getting a new computer, and it's all thanks to you guys. So shout out to the chat. But with that being said, where is it at? Did I not add him on there? Did I just drop the ball? Damn it. Adversity in Comics 1. That was going to be my whole thing, and I swear I added him on here. I'm horrible. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that after the show. Adversity in Comics got the top spot, so shout out to him. And shout out to Christopher Bouchard. Shout out to Rick Saylor and everybody else that sent super chats that night. You guys were absolutely amazing. Appreciate you guys. So here we go. The leaderboard. This is something we do every single week until the end of the year. It's getting close now. We are almost officially in the last month of the year, and that means that we are going to be really ramping this up. Right now, you saw Rick Saylor is still leading with 11 victories, followed by Christopher Bouchard. And a distant third is Mo Biggs, and then a bunch of other people. You want to be the top person on this list because when you win, you're going to win over an $800 value of original art and a bunch of other stuff. I think Paul Thayer from Project Analysis and Lethal Leopard said he was going to throw in a limited edition comic or something like that in the last show as well. I think Zach is going to throw in something. Sean's got a bunch of stuff. I got stuff we're throwing in. So it's going to be a hell of a package going into for the winner of this thing. What do you got? You got anything there you want to show off?
So from last week, I did a Deadpool. Might be a little glary. All
there
these
you go.
Head bust sketches are like $75 worth on my end, and I'm just throwing everything in. I did a Ripclaw and a Grifter.
Yeah.
And what else? A Donatello. But I might
Hell
do some
yeah.
more. I don't know.
And that's very Eastman-like. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very
We're trying to make
Eastman-like.
this a big thank you and a fun time for everybody. And just, it's exciting on our end to see people just kind of go at it. You know, try to beat Rick. For Bouchard, just kind of.
Yeah.
You know, he's double dutching.
It's been fun. And I think it's a fun way to just interact with the chat and give something back to you guys for supporting the show as long as you have. So in order to do this, what you guys have to do is be as active as possible in the chat. You got numbers by certain names and crowns and color sources. It's if you're talking the most, you're atting each other, you're commenting on the stream, sending super chats, whatever it might be, do what you can to get that first spot, because it doesn't matter if you're first now. You have to be first at the end of the show to count as the winner. So you got to battle that out all show long, and it starts right now. So shout out to you. Good luck, everybody. Let's go. You don't want to miss out on that big prize at the end. We got Sheldon Martin in the house. What's going on, brother?
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Says Somali Sean and Bronin Joe. Hey, fellas. Hey, the chat. Hey to you, man.
Yeah, there's no Yuna Samurai. It's okay.
It's, you know, it's just now the special way that you spell it. So that's just what it's going to be. We got KO Joe in the house. Says, greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hi.
Same to you. Michael Pritchard is here as well. Said, at the end, just flip the list so I can be on top. There you go. I like your strategy. I like your strategy. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. Flattery absolutely does help as well. Yes, hit the like button, share this out, let people know we're live. Jump in here if you want to have a Stranger Things conversation. Yes, we're going to go into spoilers, but not crazy spoilers. But we're going to talk a little bit about the first 4 episodes that dropped. What we think about this overall, like how is it, successor to the rest of the series that has happened, and where we think it's going, and then is it good? There's a lot of conversation I see on X right now. There's a lot of people hating this show just because that's the trendy thing to do, is hate anything that's popular nowadays. And then there's a lot of people that love the show, and then there's a certain section of people that want the show to be gay, for better or lack words. Let's throw it out there. That's what it is. So we're going to jump into that discussion.
We're not gay.
We're not gay. Right now. Christopher says, what are you drawing? Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. That's right. All right. Thank you, Doug, for sharing that out on X. Appreciate you. All right, man. Stranger Things season 5. Stranger Things dropped about 10 years ago.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? When you think about it, 10 years ago, this show dropped, and it could have been probably one of the best shows I had seen, especially from us. You know, we're 80s kids. We grew up teenagers in the 90s, but we were born in the 80s. And so, I fell in love with all those 80s shows. Obviously, The Goonies, E.T., all that kind of stuff. And this show had that feel, but then it also had that feel of just a little bit of danger, a little bit maybe mixed in like some alien, horror stuff into it. And it was just a beautiful mix of different, genres within the 80s settings. And I thought it hit. And it took off like everybody loved the show. It was popular right off the bat.
Jump Street, yeah.
And it just, it kept getting better. It kept getting better. What I did, when my family did, we sat down a couple weeks ago and we started binge watching everything again just to get caught back up so we could get ready for season 5 and we wouldn't have to forget something that happened. Because it was 3 years since season 4 came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like 2 years in between these shows as they've spread them out season wise. So it takes a second. You gotta go back, and I'm glad we did because we were all fresh and ready to go with all the information. And season 5 hit, and was just hit the ground running. And so far, I loved it. But Stranger Things, the phenomenon that it is. What is your favorite thing about the show in general? Before we jump into this season, in chat, I want to see what you guys do. If you're a fan of the show, in the chat, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know. If you like the season, same thing. Let us know what you're thinking about this season so far. Positive, negative, doesn't matter. That's what we're here to talk about. Sean.
It's got to be the wonderment of the nostalgia hits, the feels, the vibes of that, the great storytelling, the great characterizations. They're each individual arcs. Some characters who I thought were kind of duds, even though if they were like mainstays, are now okay. You're top 3 right now. But
yeah,
just everything about it, like rewatching it, I'm like, I totally forgot about like certain things that happened that were key. And it's like, how did I not have the member berries? But it's all, again, member berries. And it's just well done. Like, yeah, it takes all these years to get it together for whatever reason they have. But I feel it's worth it. It's entertaining. And, yeah, I'm going to be a fan for life.
Yeah, I think I don't think I can be disappointed with this show. And so before we jump into season 5 talk, the one thing that bothered me about this show is I thought that season 2 was kind of a throwaway storyline. If you guys don't know, season 2 it's not my favorite season, honestly. Season 2 is probably my least favorite of all the, and not saying it was bad, but there are just things I like about all the other seasons better. But there's this one storyline where L11 goes to Chicago to meet another person from the Hawkins lab named 8. And I thought they just kind of buried that storyline because it was something that I don't think was really that well received by a lot of people. I think a lot of people that I know talk about that season, that was their least favorite part of the season. Same here. But they even rectified that in season 5 to the point where this show has no plot holes. And you can't say that a lot about most shows that run this long. Like, I have to give a shout out to the Duffy brothers. Is it Duffy or Duffer?
I think Duffer.
That their direction on this storytelling has been solid from the beginning. And they've had to adjust too, because Netflix is weird. You get one season, you don't automatically get renewed. You got to go jump through the hoops to get a show renewed. And sometimes it takes multiple years to actually get to the next season. And so the kids get older, all this kind of stuff, but they've kept it together. It is kind of funny when you binge watch it, though.
Yeah.
When you binge watch it, you go from season to season, and you just see how these kids, the actors, spring up in age. But that really, the story is so good, it doesn't really throw me off all that much. Bean Pad says D&D. Yeah, that was a big,
cool.
big source of it as well. KO just says, saw the first season, but that's it. Do yourself a favor, man. Go back and this is a good time right now. Start watching that second season, and by the time you're done going through the entire 4 seasons, season 5 will probably be done, and just continue going through and watch it. Because I think that's a really good way to do this, is to binge the entire season from first episode to the last episode that they make in the series. Because it really does work very well together. Like how some movie franchises, continuity gets lost or something on the second or third movie because you have different creator, maybe a different director coming in or something like that, and just something feels off. This has felt like a seamless story from beginning to end, and they were able to roll with the punches when it comes to like taking a long time between seasons to still make it seem like it's existing within this period of time. Because I want to say it's from 1982 to 1987 is the timeline here. So we got a 5-year stretch.
As of now?
Well, as of now, yeah. Who knows if there's going to be a jump? I don't think they're going to do a jump. a time jump in this going forward. I think it's just going to be 87, but that's a 5-year span within the story of these characters. And I see people complain sometimes about the kids getting older. Well, they start in middle school.
Stop that? How are you
I was
gonna
just going
stop that?
you can't stop it. You can't stop it. The actor or the character started in middle school. Now they're in high school. There's a lot of growing and changing, with kids during that period of time. And the oldest actor of the younger kids, I think, is Dustin. He's 23 years old. And people in the early 20s have been portraying teenagers in movies for forever. So that doesn't really throw me. Like, I see that complaint go around, and I'm just like, that doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest with you. Sheldon said the 80s nostalgia and the Akira Secret Government Lab telekinetics power stuff. They really tapped in, the Duffer Brothers, they really tapped into like everything that was cool about that era. Like everything that was cool about that era. And the 80s was fantastic when it came to that stuff. You take the take the anime, take movies, horror movies, comics, pop culture, music, all in just, they put it together so nicely. And if you grew up in that era, it just, I think
it feels like you're kind of there.
It does. It just kind of feels like home.
Mall, they have their stores. You're like, I had that version of whatever, that ice cream shop. Like it's definitely the member berries and the good vibes on that. But yeah, they did hell of a job.
And in a good way, because I know a lot of people like dog and nostalgia or whatever, but I think this is in a good way. It's in an entertaining way. And season 3, when you get to the mall, that's great, because I'm like, fuck, the mall was the shit when I was a kid.
That's where I first learned to smoke cigarettes.
Well, there you go.
In the food court.
Yeah, the mall was an awesome place to be, and they died out some time ago. There's still malls around, but not like what it was. No. And so the way they just incorporated that into the season was pretty badass as well. Pritchard says, I just dug the time representation, that and the care they took with the way they shot the show. Yeah,
cinematography.
Great cinematography, in my opinion. And people are going to complain about whatever, but I think they've sunk some pretty good money into the show. Yeah, there's a lot of CGI, but not horrible CGI. Like, I'm watching Welcome to Derry, and I like the show, but the CGI in that is nowhere near the CGI in Stranger Things.
You know what? Welcome to Derry, I think it was up from the 2 weeks ago when they're riding through the cemetery. That reminds me of like Ghostbusters 2. But Ghostbusters 2, like the court scene, like that being stuck in that time for... It wasn't really polished. It was very flimsy.
Yeah. I just... The CGI in Stranger Things has been on point. Even going back and watching season 1, even that season had really good CGI for what it was, and their budget has only gotten bigger since then, and they put a lot into it. And you can tell this season alone. Let's talk about season 5. I'm gonna try to avoid major spoilers. If you guys haven't seen it, it's gonna be kind of hard, but we'll see what we can do.
That's what I said.
The CGI in season 5, I think, is fantastic.
Yep.
Like, I'm watching it on our HD TV, and it's got all the settings up, so it's got like the more realistic look to the way it's shot. Whatever the setting is in the TV that you can do that, and it really holds up, because sometimes you do that. I've watched like Avengers with that kind of setting on the TV, and it almost makes the CGI look worse because everything looks too realistic, and then the CGI comes in and it looks really cartoony. This was actually really well done. I thought everything just bled together very well, and just the way it was shot. So shout out to them with that, with the production of the show. It's top notch, and it should be, because they're going to go out with a bang. And everybody's scarred because of Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh yeah.
And I've talked to a couple of people about it. Like, you just now have this feeling that the last season of a show is just going to be dog shit for whatever reason because of Game of Thrones. I don't think we're going to have that in this season. From judging on the four episodes that we just watched, I think this is going to be a very solid ending, and they're going to tie up all of the story. Everything's going to make sense, and we're going to get to the end, and it's going to be a nice conclusion. Now, what that was, we could have a ton of theories on what's actually going to happen. But jumping into this, we get to the normal 2 to 3 episodes where you're reconnecting with the characters, you're seeing where everybody's at now. And it always takes a second to build into the story. Going back and binge watching like I did, I noticed a pattern after season 1 that every season took about 2 to 3 episodes before it actually dove into the story. So it was always kind of this slow burn into the actual story, and then once the story hit, then boom, you're off and running. And they do the same thing here in season 5, and I'm fine with that. You know, you get to see where the characters are at. Yes, they're much older. You know, I'm assuming that they're seniors in high. They look like seniors in high school. That's the way I kind of envision them in this. But one thing about this season, I think that is very noticeable, is there's a darkness to this season that the other seasons really didn't have. You know, I was talking to Chris Graves. Shout out to Chris Graves, Riding Pain out there. And he was bringing up that he thought they lost the kind of Goonies whimsical kind of feel that they had established with the first season and carried it on pretty much through season 3. And I agreed with them on that. I was like, you're right. But I think storytelling wise, it's necessary. And I've compared this to the Harry Potter, the last 2 Harry Potter movies, which I can't remember the names offhand, whatever they are. But you had a series that was it was made for kids. And as the series went along, that movie, they got darker and darker. The kids got older. The stakes got more intense. People were dying. And the last 2 movies hit, and it was very much a dark storyline now. You know, like these kids were thrust into adulthood with the things that were going on. People were dying. It was like a dark tone to those movies. That's what I feel like with this season. That we went from what happened in season 4 with the introduction of Vecna, with Hopper being in the Russian prison, with the death of Eddie, with all these characters, that we're seeing the ramifications now in season 5 and how that's affected everybody. And it's affected people in different ways. And to me, this is a good storytelling, that the childhood, the innocent aspect of these kids has been stolen because of everything. And it's finally to a point now where we live in a dark world with the gates being opened up after season 4 and the military coming in and locking down Hawkins. And now they basically live in like a prison town. You know, it's an interesting concept. I like it. But I told Chris, I was like, I get where you're coming from, but in the storytelling aspect of where they're going with this, I kind of think you have to go this direction, because you can't go whimsical comedy.
How do you come
after
back
what happened in season 4? Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, how do you come back from that? Like, it was Eddie, right?
Eddie. Yep.
The death of Eddie, like, and not for nothing, like, these kids have been through hell these past 4 seasons. You know, so they've had to grow up more so than they really should have been. They had to be leaders. They had to be survivalists. They had to be heroes. And to place that under the arms of, like, an 8 or 10-year-old, that's a huge burden, you know, especially with everything that Will, I always get their names confused. Will's the clumsy one, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially him, who I thought was a dud character and was just a walking MacGuffin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like, that's some big shit, man. Like, I wouldn't be able to handle that. You know, maybe I would be a little flimsy after coming out of all these different shit. But now he's in my top 3. But we'll get that down to that. But, like,
yeah, we'll cover the Will arc, which I think is finally needed, definitely, as we go. Paul's in the house, says Crimson Pain 1, short part of the channel giveaway. Get started chatting, more to come. Yes, sir. That's what Paul is throwing in the giveaway. We appreciate you, brother. Everybody go check out Paul Thayer. Lethal Leopard is live on Kickstarter right now. Go check that out. Lactose intolerant, no dairy for me. Hey, Paul. Yeah, everyone's saying hi to Paul. CG on a little Will's face was so in 5. Yeah, it was the same thing in season 4. Like, the CG on 11's face was, you know, there's really only so much you can do with that, you know, unless you're de-aging or you're doing the face swap or whatever it is, technology that they're doing. It was okay. It wasn't enough to throw me out of it. I mean, I would actually, if they had just recast him as a younger kid and it had a different actor, that would have been way worse for me.
Lord of the Rings it, maybe.
Yeah.
Or what they should have done was like NBA Jam, when you had the code to do like the big heads and little bodies. That would have been tight.
There you go. Yeah. Goonies, Stand By Me, feel is missed. Yeah, you've lost that in season 5. That is for sure, and that's why I agreed with Chris on that. But I do think it's a natural progression of the story because, like Sean said, there's only so much you can do with these kids. I mean, like, let's just think of as storytellers when you're putting a character through things. A first season, second season, maybe it's whatever, but once you actually start seeing people around them that they care about dying, and these horrific things happen to them. It changes them. And you see that the most with a character like Dustin. Dustin was one of my favorite characters because he was just like the chunk, I always looked at him as like the chunk of this show, sure. But maybe a little bit more elevated because Chunk was kind of like mostly the comic relief of the Goonies, and the heart, I guess you could say, with Sloth. Dustin is the heart of the show when it comes to, he's always the one trying to do something. In every single season, everybody else has stuff going on, usually relationships or whatever. And Dustin's always the one that's really on it, trying to get stuff done. And we see him in season 5 change so much because of his relationship with Eddie, the friendship that they formed from in between season 3 and 4 and throughout season 4. And he was there, watched Eddie die. Eddie sacrificed himself to basically save everybody. And that's really taken a toll on him. And you see that in season 5. So to take a character like Dustin and be like, we're going to give you the same old Dustin that he's always been after having essentially one of his best friends be killed doesn't make a lot of sense. So for him to come in and just now he's a completely different character. He's changed. He's angry. I like that. I liked it because it's showing that there's real stakes in this show. 11 is the same way. 11 is really, she's actually kind of annoying in the first part of the season because she's just like so determined and so just, I'm going to do what I want kind of thing because she's pissed off and wants to end everything, wants to take out Vecna and all this stuff. But I get it. You see what Vecna has done to her in her life and all the ramifications of that. So characters have changed and they have to change. They can't stay the same. We can't come into season 5 and let's do a retelling of seasons 1 through 4 and throw in the comedy. If you notice, Sean, they really put a lot of comedy in starting with season 2 and season 3, and then they pulled back a little bit in season 4, and a lot of the comedy now is really gone. And I like that because it's showing that there's a realism to this world, that we can have some fun with what's going on, but once you introduce actual
real life circumstances of events.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, exactly. When you put that in, and it's more than just losing your friend in the Upside Down. You go on this adventure like we do. We watch all the '80s shows, and it's really cool. Now you get into a point where this has happened. Now people are dying, and these characters have to mature. And hell, they're in a prison town now. Yeah. Everything about Hawkins, everything about this season is completely different, and I think they had to do that. And I think it's good that they did that. And I think you're allowing them to be. The show is more violent this year, way more violent.
By far.
Yeah, they upped the violence in this, upped the gore. And I'm kind of leery because my daughter's watching the show with us, and she's 6 years old, and she handles that stuff pretty well. But she's gone through all the seasons, handled everything. And we watched the first couple of episodes, and I was like, oh damn! Like I wasn't expecting it to be this violent. Yeah. Watching it with my daughter, but as a fan, for me, I'm just like, oh shit, that's awesome. Losing Eddie was a hit to us all. He was one of my. Let's just say this. I think Eddie, amongst the original characters, of all the characters that have come in since the original characters, he was probably everybody's favorite. I think universally, and everybody wanted
Max's brother.
Yeah, and he was a cool character too.
Cool character.
Like Max, for being an asshole and going through the story arc he went through. That was a cool character as well. But everybody wanted to see Eddie come back, including myself. I was hoping that they were going to bring him back somehow. And I guess, honestly, the actor that plays him, I can't remember his name offhand, but he's gotten a lot of stuff after that role. And he's just, he's just in the Fantastic Four as the Human Torch. He was in one of the Quiet Place movies that came out.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's doing a lot of stuff, and I just don't think his schedule allowed him to come back. But that would have been one character I'd like to have seen come back.
Don't know yet because they felt this took about a year to film, and you never know the pockets and spaces Are they
Well-
going to do flashback scenes? Are they going to do like some sort of, if Vecna is going to fuck with your head and like, here he is, but it's not him. It's really Vecna. Or Vexna. Whatever. It's cool.
That could be, and I guess you can't really put it past actors lying to you nowadays, but because I saw an interview with that dude saying that he was not in the show because of his schedule. So that would be a nice surprise if they put him in there as maybe even just a flashback. So you don't have to bring him back from the dead. We have some kind of flashback scene or have some kind of scene with maybe him and Dustin in a vision or something that helps Dustin get over his death or whatever. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be pretty cool.
Let's play back.
Yeah. All right, hold on a second. Murray was a comedy, hardly any of him in 5. Yeah, Murray was a big comedic character when they brought him in as well. And he came in season 2. And he was a bigger part of season 3 and season 4. But season 5, yeah, he's there, and he might be in it more now that he's actually. And I'm trying to tiptoe around heavy spoilers for people that haven't seen it. So I'm gonna probably spoil something here for you guys. So I do apologize. Just fair warning.
We gotta talk about like once we get there. Like
we'll give a spoiler warning because we're gonna talk about episode 4 because I mean you cannot do it. But Murray is in this season just a little bit as a smuggler because he's bringing stuff in. This is not spoilers, just story. He's bringing stuff in from the outside because Hawkins has been completely shut down, almost like Simpsons, the movie with the dome, except without a dome, but it's completely shut down. You can't get in and out of Hawkins without going through the military. So he's constantly smuggling stuff into the kids to help them with their mission because their entire thing has been to try to find Vecna ever since the end of season 4. They want to find him. They want to kill him. Like that's what they want to do. And so we've seen him very, very briefly. But now that he's kind of in there and there's a circumstance, which we'll get into, I think he's going to be in there. He's going to be a bigger part of the show going forward for the rest of the season. That's just my hunch.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's jump into.
We got Rick in the house.
Billy made up for his douchiness at the end. Yeah, Billy. Yeah, let's talk about that character for a second since Beanpad brought it up. Billy was an awesome character. Now, we were talking about it because he was the dude from Power Ranger movies, the Power Ranger movie, I should say that. And he looks completely different. It took me forever to figure out who the hell he was when he first popped up in season 2 because I was like, man, he looks familiar. What I loved about that character is character arcs, and every character in this series, including Will, now that we're in season 5, has had an arc where they've changed, and I like that. No character just stays the same, and that was my only complaint about Will until this season, and we'll talk about that. But Billy had one of the coolest arcs because he starts out as this just piece of shit asshole, abusive to Max, his younger stepsister, just everything about him just bad. But he was cool. He was like the cool kid bad guy, that you kind of was just like, I like him, like he's an asshole, but I kind of like him. And then he goes in season 3, he gets possessed by the mind flare. He becomes his basically his chief officer in the real world, working for the mind flare. And he goes through that arc where at the end he has to sacrifice himself. Basically, it's not necessarily he saved Max in that moment, but you can look at it that way, right? Like he broke free of the mind flares, mind control, had that moment where he kind of stood his ground, and had the big sacrificial death. What's the word?
Redemption.
Yeah, there you go. Redeeming his character. Redeeming his character in that moment. And it was a really cool. So Billy is actually one of my favorite characters. I wish I could have stuck him. I wish he hadn't died, but I like the fact that you had that full arc with that character. And here we go again. Going into season 4, you saw how that affected Max going into season 4. So these kids, they go through these arcs where they lose friends or they lose family. And you can't keep that Goonies, Stand By Me, E.T. feel with these characters. You just can't. You have to mature them going forward for going through real life stuff. And you see how these characters deal with death. And you're seeing that now in season 5. But yeah, Billy, shout out Beanpad. Billy was a cool character. Why Jay's in the house says, why doesn't the Hawkins kids just contact Dairy Kids for help?
Right? Ultimate team up.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, but how would Mike handle whatever character he played in
oh, yeah, that's right, because he was in It.
Yeah.
He was one of the. He was what character was he in it? Was he the? No, he wasn't that. I can't remember. But yeah,
The
that would be
comedian.
funny.
He was the Bill Hader.
Was he the comedian? Oh,
Yeah,
Bill Hader. Yeah. He was
yeah.
the younger Bill Hader version. That's right. Okay. What's going on, Wiley J? Good to see you. We got JD Kirby in the house as Redemption Arc. Thank you. I have a
Yes.
hard time with words tonight, which is usually what happens when we get in here. Let me change the music.
His music?
Yeah. Speaking of redemption, yeah, you can't hear it on your end. It's all right. Speaking of redemption arcs. All right, season 5 though, we're getting into it. Lots of positives about season 5. I like how the characters now more than ever are working together, almost like this underground resistance.
Yeah.
I think it's a kind of a cool way that Robin is this. She's a disc jockey now, but basically she's just doing it so she can get messages out to the rest of the kids, the rest of the group, when they're going to go on these crawls that they call them, which is basically when the military goes on a burn, where they go into these sectors of town and they burn parts of the Upside Down. They kind of piggyback ride into the Upside Down and they search for Vecna, or they use this time to search for Vecna to try to find him and try to kill him. It's a cool concept how you put them together, how they're working now with this big unit. And that's the biggest change when you get into season 5. No longer is it like, oh, high school, Halloween, prom, whatever it is that we're doing. They're now in this complete real world mission of trying to end what has happened to them over this course of the 5 years that has existed in the show. And they're full on. Everybody's got a part now, except for Will, which we'll talk about there in a little bit. But what do you think about the story so far in season 5, where we get into it and we see that they are basically this underground resistance, but in a different way, I guess. They're not fighting the military, but they're doing what they can to still fight Vecna.
I want to touch on something real quick with Jonathan, especially. He's had to worry about his brother the past 4 seasons and continue doing so, that it's kind of doing whatever to him internally, where it's having an effect on his relationship with Nancy. And then him and Steve are getting in the beef of, topping each other up.
Yep.
To vie for her attention, but Steve is just like, nah, like, it's my friend, and then they had to talk out their shit in one of the
do you think that they're not doing the love triangle here?
Oh, Steve still wants to get in her pants.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure Steve still wants to bang her. Yeah. Okay,
he's just throwing out like excuses just so
he's trying to impress her.
Yeah. But it was not for nothing. It was a good talk where he could kind of get back to his fearlessness instead of his fearful aspect of who he is, because with everything he's been dealing with because of his brother.
Yeah. No, it's a good point too. It's funny because you see the dynamic between the older kids and the younger kids when you talk about the story development, and there still is very much a love triangle going on with the older kids. The way they're just kind of telling the story, whereas with the younger kids, I heard that there was originally supposed to be a love triangle between, what characters was it? I think Max, Dustin, and Lucas.
Yeah.
There was originally, and they dropped that storyline, which is good because we don't need. I mean, honestly, that shit is so overdone. And this is what I kind of like about the Duffer Brothers is just maybe tweaking their ideas as they go, but making it for better. Like you really didn't need that, so they took that out, which is nice. But you still have this one love triangle going on between Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy, and I think it works really good because the little rivalry that those two guys have works very well, and it's still kind of like this respectful thing, right? They've been through a lot together. No, Steve's not trying to go behind Jonathan's back and do anything like that. It works within the characters and allows them, when you team the characters up, there's obviously tension there. And it does add for some pretty cool character interaction between those two guys. The only thing I wish they would give Steve he doesn't need a redemption arc, but he needs like a badass moment.
Oh, he definitely does, because Steve's cool. Steve's
he's
cool.
he's always been a cool character.
Yeah.
And I guess I read an article. His character was actually supposed to die in season 1.
Oh,
He
really?
was it was a character that was supposed to die in season 1, but he made an impression on the writers and directors, and they liked him so much that they kept giving him bigger parts to keep him around, and just became a mainstay of the show, which is great because I think he's one of the better characters in the show, and that he's one of the guys that has always been with the kids, which is funny. He's
Right.
constantly making those jokes about being like the babysitter or whatever, but he has been the older kid that's been able to be there for the younger kids fighting Demogorgons or doing stuff that's a little bit more risk,
Mhm.
and he's been the one to be able to kind of protect them. I would like to see them in this season kind of give him a really good scene where he's just badass.
Yeah.
There's a scene in season 5 where he gets a chainsaw, and at first I was like, oh, that's a great idea. He should keep that on him like the entire season, because he had that baseball bat there for a couple seasons, and that was kind of his signature thing. And he came out with this chainsaw, and I was thinking to myself, like straight up, like, Evil Dead Ash. I was like, you should do that. Like, have him have this chainsaw throughout the entire season would be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. But it was only for that scene. It didn't really go anywhere after that. But I want to see something with his character. And Jonathan is the same way. He needs to do something that is a little bit more manly. Jonathan has never really done anything. If you think about it in the entire series, I can't think of a scene where he's done anything that was like straight up protective, manly, fighting monsters or anything. Can you?
He's always been an emotional blanket, if anything.
Very emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Steve, out of all the characters, probably has had like the biggest 180 character-wise, because he was that high school dick. He was that Zach in school where you're like,
exactly, yeah.
And
he's
got a heart of gold. You
Yep.
see the older brother he has over the younger cast.
Yeah.
So I think he's got a good arc within himself. But yeah, but I want that big, like, I'm the shit moment.
Right. Yeah. And I'm hoping they don't kill his character, but if they do, I mean, he needs to go down in a blaze of glory, doing what he's done for
He does, yeah.
doing what he's done for the kids since season 2, which is be the main protector of the younger kids. So if there's ever going to be a scene where he goes down, I'm hoping it's doing what he does best, which is protect everybody.
Protecting Dustin, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a really big, I mean, shit, you want to talk about putting Dustin through
right?
even worse of a loss, and geez, you talking about effing that kid up if Steve died too and Eddie died. Oh yeah, I don't think they would do that to that character, but maybe. So
you never know.
You never know. Final seasons, anything goes. Anything goes with the final season of a series. Beanpad says Robin reminds me of the DJ from the Warriors sending out notes.
Yeah.
Good call. Don's in the house.
What's up, Don?
What's going on, brother? Says, hey guys, enjoyed Stranger Things. One of the cooler things was seeing Winona Ryder act alongside Maya Hawke, the daughter of her pal and ex-boyfriend, Ethan Hawke. I did not know they dated. Right on. And she looks so much like her parents too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, she looks like Uma Thurman sometimes in different angles, but then she also looks like Ethan Hawke.
You get like her teeth and like here for Ethan.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny combination. Sheldon says Babysitter Steve is my favorite version of Steve. When he stood there taking all those darts in the cave was great. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think they're trying to go away this because he's more with the older kids in this season, and they've really separated them. If you notice, the dynamics in this season is a lot different than they have been in before. The older kids are together right now. The younger kids are together. There's been a separation. And if anything, Joyce has become more of a part of their storyline instead of being off on her own storyline that she normally is. She's kind of the one right now with the younger kids. So what is going to happen? My thing with this season is you have to kill one of the kids. You have to kill one of the kids, whether it's one of the older kids or one of the younger kids. Somebody's got to die to have any kind of significance.
Mike.
And I mean,
in front of 11, and then she just goes fucking total.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you kill her,
and, yeah.
She goes all Jean Grey. Shout out to Kayla.
Old Jean Grey Jr. Shot Kayla.
Yeah, it's a straight shot to Kayla. Yeah, that would be something right there if that was the case. If I was writing the show, I would kill two main characters throughout the season. I would have one character have a tragic death, and then I'd have another character have a sacrificial death. But I'd make them both count. I'd have somebody die like Eddie, where you're doing like Eddie's was kind of like a sacrifice, but not in the way I'm thinking. Like in the way I'm thinking is like really going out in a badass way. Not saying that Eddie didn't go out in a badass way, but it was just he stayed behind. He did what he did, and it ended up killing him. Where somebody going into something knowing that they're going to die and they make that decision to protect somebody and sacrifice themselves, that's a death I need. But I need somebody else to just have a tragic death. And I thought maybe we would get something around episode 4, which we didn't, which is fine, but there's still time for that to happen. I mean, what are you thinking? Do we need that, or is that something we can just kind of bypass for this series?
No, that would make it such an epically grand scale finale of a series that I'm gonna go with Steve and Will. Not Will, Mike.
Mike would be crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I always kind of looked at Mike as the lead character for this show.
The Mike Nesmith of the Monkees, yes.
Yeah, like, for some reason, I mean, Will was the one that all centers around, but for some reason, I always thought Mike was kind of more like the lead character, even though you ride with Elle a lot, and there's so many, the cast is so big, it's kind of hard to say, like, who is the lead, but for some reason, to me, it comes down to Mike. So, I mean, that would be interesting if you were to take out his character.
What about you?
I would take out. I think Will's got to die. I mean, I would, and we can we can segue a little bit into Will's arc here in a second, but I think Will, his death in a sacrificial way, sacrificing himself for his friends, and I say that because the entire series, he has been the one that's been kidnapped, fucked with in season 2 with the mind flare, and he was taken over by the mind flare. He became the spy. Season 3, he was all trying to, his childhood had been lost, so he was trying to regain his childhood while his other friends were maturing and moving on to relationships and other stuff in life. He was still trying to do the D&D stuff. He never had like any significance up until this season, but it started with him. There's something special about why he was taken, and it's almost like the friends group revolves around him.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he was the first one of the friends group. It was him on the swing, and then Mike sat down, they became friends, and then it's everybody came in through that, but it was all came in through Will. So what better way for the series to end, to go full circle to where it started is where it's going to end, but it's going to end with Will kind of, I don't want to say redeeming his character because he didn't have an arc like Billy, but to have something where it makes his character significant, important. Because right now,
MacGuffin.
Yeah, because right now Will has always just been like, he's the oddball character that things happen to, but everybody else has the adventures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always kind of been on the sideline. Everybody else has the adventures, does the risky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And then Will's just been there. So I think the best way, especially with the way episode 4 ended, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, to have Will be the sacrificial death, and then to have the tragic death, it's got to be one of the older kids to me. And it probably comes down to either Jonathan or Steve. Now, Jonathan would be interesting because, like you said, he's never done anything significant in the series. So just much in the same way as like Bob died, when that was like, just a shocking death that when they took Bob out, I would like to see them do that same way with a character like Jonathan. I don't know why, because I just don't want Steve to die, because I think he can have a cooler scene. Unless you're going to have him.
Family.
Well, maybe that's what it is. But unless you're going to have Steve do like the chainsaw, get the chainsaw out and just like start mowing through Demogorgons or stuff, blood all over the place, just this really badass scene, and then he dies, I could deal with that. But I don't know. I need that first before they actually kill that character. At least that's what I would do if I was writing the series. JD Kirby for $2 says 11, Kali and Will. together have Vecna's powers. Huh. That's true when you think about it. Because 8 has the ability to manipulate what people see, what they feel, what they think, which I guess is what Vecna does from the upside down to somebody's mind in the real world. 11's got the telekinetic stuff, and then Will's got like kind of the combination, I guess. We still haven't seen. All right, let's jump into Will since that was brought up. Spoilers, everybody. We're going to talk about the end of the episode 4. Leading up to episode 4 has been a really, really fun story. Trying to find Vecna, trying to escape the military, and trying to figure out. Oh, okay. Let me back up a little bit. There's this scene in, I think, episode 3 where the military has found some way to sideline 11's powers to knock her out. And we see that in an interesting way. And I'm not going to go into too much spoilers with that. Go watch it if you guys haven't yet. But one of the interesting things with that is we find out that 8, if you guys remember 8 from the season 2, which I was talking about, was one of the storylines that I thought they kind of threw away because a lot of people didn't seem to like it. And I almost thought they were just kind of like, let's bury it and let's move on. We'll just never talk about it. It'd be one of those things. People do it all the time in movies and TV series. But they bring back 8 in a big way. That she's the one that's been captured by the military, and they're forcing her to basically be the one that knocks out L's powers, 11's powers. So with JD Kirby bringing that up, you now have brought a full circle with that storyline in, closing loopholes. There are no plot holes in this show anymore. Like, that was the only one that was out there, and now that that's been closed up, you brought her back into the fold. So now you have 11, you have 8, and Will. What's the whole thing with Will? If you guys didn't see it, we're going to get into it here. There's this scene where the Demogorgons are attacking the base, the military base, and everything's going to shit. All the plans that they put into place, again, I'm tiptoeing around spoilers, even though we're going to get into the massive one. All the stuff that they put into place went to shit, and everything seems to be falling out. The Demogorgons are going all over the place. Everybody that is in the cast is in danger of dying. And I thought that was a cool... The build up to these scenes were very fun. You had Lucas is trying to save a bunch of kids. He's being cornered by Demogorgons. You have Robin and Murray trying to save a bunch of kids. They're being chased by a bunch of Demogorgons. You have Will, Mike, Joyce. Who else was in that scene?
All the children that
the rest of the kids
capture. Yeah.
Yep. All being threatened by Demogorgon. And then you got the older kids are in the upside down doing their own kind of adventure. They're a little bit more safe than everybody else.
With Dustin.
With Dustin, that's right. Dustin's with them too. But in this scene, everyone's seemingly like, you're setting it up like, damn, this is it. Like, where are they going with this? Because they are setting it up like everyone's in this situation. Like, how do you get out? How do you get these characters out of this situation? Which is what I love in TV shows and movies, when you put characters in and your mind starts thinking, how are you going to get them out of this? Because this is where storytelling comes in and becomes really cool. When you do this, now all of a sudden the big baddie shows up. Vecna shows up and makes an entrance, and boy, what a fucking entrance it was. Awesome, man. I mean, the redesign for Vecna in this show is top notch, top tier. And they took everything that was cool about the character in the first one, but he's basically all CGI in this season. And if you remember what happened to him in season 4, where he got set on fire, he got knocked out of the window, he really got the shit kicked out of him in season 4, at the end of season 4. And I think you're kind of seeing the ramifications of that, where his body isn't really a body anymore. It's almost like it's a construct. There you go. It's a construct of everything that he has created from the upside down or the other dimension that he's been in. And he really has this badass look. There's kind of a mix between what he was, maybe a little Swamp Thing design in there. Somebody mentioned on X a little bit of Ultron too. And I could see that right off the bat, like some of the way they've constructed his face a little bit. But he looks so much more intimidating in this show. And he comes marching in like the freaking Terminator, taking people out and doing everything. And he gets Will and he brings Will up close to him, and he basically gives the best dress down of a character you're ever going to do. I mean, if you want to like humiliates a character and basically just tell them they are just nothing, they're worthless. This was a hell of a fun speech that Vecna tells Will. And this is the thing I like about Will's character here that I hated before, is Vecna calls out everything that was wrong about this character. He's like, you want to know why I chose you first? Talking about the kids. A side story in this, Vecna is collecting a bunch of kids in the storyline, and you'll find out why when you actually go watch the show. Again, guys, I'm trying to tip around some spoilers here, but he basically says, you want to know why I got you first? Because you were the easiest to break. You were the easiest to break. And they start showing all these flashbacks of Will throughout the season, of when he was taken, when the mind flayer took him over, and they basically called out his character for what it is. His character has been a pussy for 4 seasons and has never done anything. He's always been the guy who's been kidnapped, the one that's in trouble. And he basically said, he was like, you're weak, you'll never be anything, this is what it is. He basically leaves them laying there as he walks away, leaving them to be completely devoured by the Demogorgons. And I think one of the coolest things that happens is the redemption, and I use that in a different way than Billy, of Will's character. Tell me what you think about it, Sean. Go ahead.
Again, totally shocked to see that happen.
I didn't see that coming. I'll say that.
Did not see it coming.
Didn't see it.
We're just going into it, right? Like,
yeah, let's jump into it. Full spoilers on this scene.
Yeah, he gets his powers. No idea how, why, whatever, but like he got.
Well, it's because he can tap into the hive mind, is the way they explained it. Right. So when Vecna is close, he can kind of tap into the hive mind and kind of tap into Vecna's powers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was stoked. Again, I've always thought Will was just being like a walking MacGuffin, nothing special. Like, special because he was chosen for a reason. But when he got these cool powers, controlling the monsters, saving his friends, I was just like, this guy has just leveled up to like maybe top 3 favorite cast members just on that scene alone. And I am so excited to see where his character arc goes, what more he's able to do. There's going to be a final battle with the 3 of them against Vecna, whatever, Vicky, whatever. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a triumphant cinematic feast on the eyes and imagination. But what they didn't show, or whatever, like in the trailer, you showed him being kind of raised up in the air, like what is Jesus like?
Yeah.
And Vecna. Why don't I remember that? Vecna. He's like, I need you to help me. Or in some shit.
Oh, in the trailer?
In the trailer. Like,
yeah, in the trailer he says something like, I need you to help me one last time or something like that. Which was an overdub.
Right, but is that for the last 4 episodes?
It's got to be.
Was it a misdirection of like Marvel when they did for Infinity War? And you see them all like running through the forest, and that never fucking happened.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that could be. That could be too. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to.
Man. I thought Mike was gonna die because they did a certain shot of him like holding up the kids and the way it spanned out.
Well, yeah, everything slowed down.
He's dead. Yeah.
So you had Robin and Murray being attacked by the Demogorgons. They're driving this Mack truck with a bunch of kids in it that they're trying to save. That flips, it turns over, and they're being Robin's getting ready. And everything goes in slow motion and very cinematic. And I like that drama. Slow motion is always a great way to amp up the drama. And these Demogorgons are basically about to take out all these characters. Lucas is in the tunnels. He is cornered by 2 Demogorgons, I think at the time as well. Maybe just one of them. I can't remember. But he's basically in a lose situation. It's just him and the Demogorgon. Like, how's he going to get out of that? And the same thing, there's another one that's leaping at Mike. And it's all happening in the same scene. We're just flashing back and forth. Boom, boom, boom. All this stuff happening. And you're showing Will as well on the ground as these images and stuff is going through his mind. Vecna's walking away. Everything looks bleak. And all of a sudden, the coolest thing you could do to Will's character, like I said, being an absolute pussy for the most of the entire series, and one of my least favorite characters. If you had killed Will off at any point in the series, I would not have batted an eye. I'd have been like, cool, no problem. And he finally, he does one of those dramatic things where his head's down, and you make that decision as a character that I'm not going to be a victim anymore. Blah blah blah. This is what you do. It's the superhero moment, right?
Oh yeah.
But they played it off very well, and he lifts his head up, and his eyes are glazed over like Vecna, which that character has never looked cool, ever, in the entire series. Has never looked cool, and they finally found a way to make him look cool. But you had to do it with the eyes, because I don't think you could have just taken this character without having this moment
and just going like this and
just going like this. Yeah, like you had to give him that look, right? You had to give him that kind of like Vecna evil look to be like, oh shit, something's happening. And he stands up and he does this thing, and he does the L thing, with the arm, the hand throw, as Rob Liefeld would say, and all of the Demogorgons stop in the air. Just he's controlling all of them in every single scene, which is the cool thing. It's not only the Mike scene, but it's Luca in the tunnels. It's Robin out there in the field, and he's got control of the Demogorgons, and he just kills them the way that Vecna kills his victims. Snaps their arms, rips, just completely breaks their bodies in half, and then drops them on the ground. And you finally had this moment where Will had a purpose. He finally has a purpose in the show, and it was a badass way for the redemption of the character. And the way I'm using redemption, because for someone that I've absolutely hated throughout the show, and I just have, he's the scenes with him, I'm over it. Like, and when he's crying to his mom, or he's like the trauma aspect of it. Yeah, it didn't do it for me. Like, I'm like, all right, let's get past the Will story. Let's get into something cooler. But now he's actually finally a cool character.
Omega.
And now you're like, yeah, right. Now he's a Omega level character that when he's around the hive mind or he's close to Vecna, he can tap into that power. And now he's a badass character. Now all these possibilities arise of what can you do now that you have 11, you have 8, and you have Will. This end battle is going to be really, really awesome. Speaking of awesome, holy shit!
Holy shnikes!
Holy shit! Mr. Christopher Bouchard, our guy, Bush Ninja?
Bush Ninja, I'm with it.
Is that what we're going to do? Bush Ninja?
Right.
That's our guy right there. $50. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much. Don't go broke on my account, but I do love you. Let's do... All right, $50. We got to play a couple here. Let's go with, all right, let's just start them off.
Get to the chopper! Dr. Fishy! No!
Welcome to the party, pal.
You one ugly motherfucker.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
It makes me giggle. Thank you, Christopher. You are the man. And I do, but let me check the top fans there. Of course, you're number one now. Number one, trying to go for his 10th victory, trying to catch up to Rick Saylor. It's going to come down to the wire. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Fitty. That's right. You rock. You rock. Thank you so much. Hiding in the bushes, a bush ninja. Love it.
I like it.
Love it. So now we have this cooler character, Mike, which I'm interested to see where he's going to go. And can I just say something controversial here, John?
Yeah, I ain't gonna ban it.
Okay. The whole gay thing that they have going on with
We're not gay.
with
We'll
Will's
explain that
character
one day down the line.
that has been there since the first season, which I never caught when I watched the first season. For some reason, I wasn't even paying attention to it. But when you go back and watch it, it's heavily implied in the first season that this character is gay from the get-go. I'm really hoping they're not going to beat us over the head with the gay messaging, and it hasn't been so bad in season 5 so far in the four episodes. It hasn't. But I'm hoping they don't go even farther into that in the rest of the season. Let's just steer clear of that. Like, can we just have gay characters in the show without it having to center around their sexuality and who they want to fuck? Because the entire thing has been like Will being in love with Mike, Mike being oblivious to the fact that Will is in love with him, and just Will pining over Mike and crying over him for the last couple seasons because he's not, I don't know, whatever that is. I'm hoping that this scene and what I liked about it is if you were making the character Will recognize who he is, as far as like he has a purpose now. He's not just a victim. He's not just this person that's in love with someone that will never love him, blah, blah, blah. But now he's actually a mainstay in the power structure of the storyline. Hopefully let's focus on that going forward. Then maybe we got through this whole gay arc and this whole love, infatuation thing, and it culminated with him realizing that who he is not these things. Who he is a greater purpose. Now let's focus on that going forward. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about getting your ass tapped.
Yeah, you know what? It's not about getting your cheeks clapped. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. We would joke around when we were watching the show because it's so funny when they put the messaging in with season 3, well, specifically season 4. It's like amongst everything that's happening, Will has this conversation with Mike, and he's saying like all this kind of stuff where it's like him trying to figure out himself, and he's putting himself into the whole, I don't know, almost like a coming out but not coming out scene. And I'm just like, all right, this isn't the time, Will. We keep joking about like this is not the time to be jumping into this. There's other things going on here.
And help your friends save the galaxy.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we're done with that. And let's focus on stuff that's actually important in the show, which has nothing to do with any of the characters' sexualities from this point on. Let's end the storyline, end Vecna. Yeah, let's do that. Hopefully that's the culmination of it and we can move forward. Same thing with Robin. You got this weird love thing that she's got going on with Anne of Green Gables or whatever that actress is that she's hooking up with, and just like, all right, let's move on from it. Will and Nancy and Kali will die. Damn, that's a lot. You gonna kill Nancy too?
Sucks.
Wow. Oh my god, the whole cheesy chats already beat us. The whole gay chats already beat us over our heads. The grooming talk took away time that could have been more funny Murray scenes. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And the only reason it bothers me is when it comes to that kind of stuff in TV shows, as long as it's not too heavy, because we're not gay, but as long as it's not heavy preaching, like trying to preach a message to you. I don't care if you have characters in a show or a movie that are gay, if it doesn't center around who they're trying to fuck. I mean, that's basically what bothers me about this. The other thing is the gay community, or whatever you want to call them, don't add us out there, everybody, on social media are trying so hard. If you see any of the shit on X or whatever, they're trying so hard to make everybody in the show gay. And it's annoying because it's like you can't have best friends that are men anymore without somebody wanting them to fuck each other or fall in love with each other. It's like, dude, they're just best friends, and that's cool. That's all. Same thing with chicks. They're just best friends. They don't have to be like, scissoring or anything like that. All right, I mean, if they're hot enough, I mean, we could, you could make an exception.
That might slide on.
Yeah, you can make an exception, I guess, for that. But yeah, the alphabet community on social media is like, I'm watching all the stuff going on from season 5, and I don't know how these people find their way onto my timeline. I'm like, Elon, what the fuck? Like, why is this shit on my? But it is. I see it all the time, and it's just like taking still frames of characters looking at each other, and they're like, oh my god, it's happening. Mike and Will are finally getting together, and I send Sean some of this stuff. I'm like, dude, these people are absolutely crazy. Yeah, I'll drink some water. All right, hold on a second. Thank you. Yeah, I'm get my voice back. It's dry down here, especially when it's colder weather. But I send this stuff to Sean. I'm like, did you get this at all out of this scene? And it's like, no, none of this is. It's just such wistful thinking because they want so much for Will to get together with Mike. I'm like, fanfic, man. I'm sick and tired. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does.
Because you want to get with Mike.
Because I want to get with Mike. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm just like, fuck Will. Like,
fuck Will.
This guy
Don't get in front of my cookies.
Way more manly. Let's go. But yeah, I'm like, let's be done with it. Let's move on. Netflix forcing their beliefs. It definitely feels like it. I was very disappointed when that stuff was in Stranger Things. But so far, it has not been so bad. And I just hope that it keeps that way. I was really worried that they were going to go all out this season, being that it's the last season, that they were really going to kind of cater to a certain fan base to try to, I don't know, give them something they want or whatever. So far, it hasn't happened. I'm happy to say that, but we'll see going forward. There's still 4 more episodes going ahead.
So what would you rank these 4 episodes?
Shit, dude, just based on the last scene of 4,
Yeah.
I would give it a 10 so far but I'm biased. I love the show. You know, so there is certain things that I'm apt to overlook that other people might not like about the show. That I'm just like, whatever, you know, some of the stuff is just meant for entertainment,
with everything.
personal preference. Yeah. Well, I mean, like some of the complaints were I saw when Mike and Nancy's mom got attacked in episode 2, I think it was. And she was, well, actually, both their parents got attacked and left for dead and really injured by the Demogorgon. A ton of people on there been like, well, this Demogorgon is going through a bunch of soldiers, taking bullets, taking fire. And yet this mom was able to fight off this Demogorgon. And there are times when, like, criticism of shows, to me, gets a little ridiculous because there's this thing called entertainment. You have to entertain. In any show, any movie, as long as you can think of, there have been characters that have stood up against a immovable force that should not have been able to do that, but they do it because you got to give a character their moment. And whether it's a character fighting, standing up for themselves and dying, or the lead character, you know, finally taking out the bad guy. Think about it. Michael Myers. Nobody can stop Michael Myers, but in the end, he's got to get stopped, right? It's the same thing with this Demogorgon thing. What I liked about the scene is you have characters in the series like Mike's mom, who has basically been there but not really there. Sometimes she's comedy relief. Other times she's kind of like, you know, she was thinking about having that affair with Billy, which was kind of weird. But they've never really done anything significant with her. And this was her moment. This was the time for the Duffers as writers to be like, how can we make this character significant and have an impact in the season? Well, what are you going to do? What's every mother going to do in the face of their child being in danger? They're going to stand up no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yep, they're going to protect their kid. They're going to put their life on the line to protect their child. And I thought the scene was brilliant. I thought it was great. The fact that she stood there against a Demogorgon, which she'd never seen before. You got to remember, these characters have never seen a Demogorgon before. This is the first time experiencing it, and that motherly instinct kicks in to protect her youngest child. And she breaks the bottle and she just goes at this thing and does as much damage as she can. People were like, well, the Demogorgons don't bleed and blah, 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 this or that. It's like, I don't care. You like, there has to be some entertainment value put into characters where you have to, like, everything you are stepping away from your belief for a second in any of these shows. You know, go back to any part in these seasons and tell me where some of these kids should have survived any situation they were in with the Demogorgons, and now you're going to complain about this scene. You know, it doesn't make sense for the people. And a lot of times I think people just hate to hate, or there's just a trendy thing now to be so overcritical about TV shows that you can't just sit back and enjoy what's being done there, and then appreciate the fact that they're giving a character that has done nothing in the show a memorable scene, possibly death, and it was perfect. It was great. I wish they had done something a little bit better with the dad, but I understand the whole aspect with the mom, because the dad's basically been a
fucking rusty trombone.
I mean, he's just
Jump Street. Like, you're eating my pancakes. Like, he's just a negative Nilly.
Yeah, and so I mean, he got, you know, he stood up to the Demogorgon too as well, and got taken out. No, I think they're both alive. Kirby. It's like they showed him and they were wheeling both of the characters into the hospital. The dad was there, but they really focused more on the mom. In fact, I was joking about it at one point. I was like, does nobody care about the dad? Because he just kind of disappeared. But no, that kind of stuff is fine with me. I don't find that cheesy at all. In fact, it makes it better in my mind. That, yeah, sure, the Demogorgon probably could have taken her out in 2 seconds, but what's the fun in that? It's more fun to see a character rise to the occasion and protect someone. Rise and hand it, I thought that was great, so I got no problem with that at all. Demogorgon only wanted her to make a sandwich. That's true.
I can use a sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, well, can you imagine the Demogorgon then just like, damn, I just wanted some food, and he just hit me in the face with this broken bottle.
Yeah.
He must have been very disappointed.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, he couldn't take it, and he was like, "Pfft, that's how you take care of a woman right there. You put her in place. Let's go." Dad was clueless, as he always is. Rise agreed. Yes. I mean, you got to give those characters those moments. You have to. Good storytelling. Exactly. See, this guy, JD Kirby, knows what we're talking about. Yeah. Good storytelling. It's about entertainment. You've seen a character do something you don't think that they should be able to do or accomplish, and they do it. It's showing the growth of a character. It's an arc. Good storytelling. And that's what we saw with Nancy's mom, Mike's mom, when when she was protecting Holly there in that scene. So I got no problem with that. Going forward, Sean, where do we think we're going with this? Because I definitely think they're setting them up for the big three to fight Vecna now. But one thing I'm going to touch on here before we get out of here. There's this one scene in the cave where they kind of show a little bit of what might be Vecna's weakness. I'm not going to dive too much into what that is, guys. Watch the show. But there's something that they're working in with that. I don't know what that's going to be. But do you think that's going to be something that they use to defeat Vecna? Or what I'm hoping doesn't happen, do you think that's going to be something they do that's going to redeem Vecna's character? Because I see a lot of people online talking. I know, that's what I'm saying. I see a lot of people online talking about that, and I'm just like, I don't want that at all.
Nah, I love hating him. I hope it weakens him, so when we get to the final battle with the other three, it's just so monumental.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, but
that's
I think going forward, we're gonna get the two deaths. We'll probably get one on Christmas, and then the last one, the heartfelt one, however it may be, on the last episode for New Year's, right? That's like the movie,
I think
one?
I think New Year's. I think that's it.
I think that's when we'll get that, and that's when we'll get the final battle.
The final battle.
Yeah.
I think. I want to keep them. I don't want a redemption arc. I read that, and I saw a couple people theorizing about it, and it made sense to the point where I was like, please don't do it. Because I want Vecna to be a bad guy. He should be a bad guy for me, because you need just bad guys.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to be redeemed.
Yeah.
We don't need to have a sob story of why Vecna was the way he was. So now at the end, he does like a Billy kind of thing where he redeems himself. I don't want that. Like that defeats the entire purpose.
I'm too invested in him being evil.
And he's a great evil character.
Great evil.
He killed his family before he went into Hawkins. He slaughtered 10 other kids at the Hawkins lab. And now he's it's absolutely just and now he's kidnapping kids for his purpose in this season. That's unredeemable.
Yeah.
Keep it that way. Make him the big bad until you have to defeat him finally, and then you end the story and everybody moves on with their life. That's the way it should be. I'm going to be absolutely pissed if they try to redeem his character in any kind of way.
Right.
So just keep that. I'm on the same page with you. Sheldon says Demogorgons went to the Hive Twitter to tell the bigotry and mistreatment of murderous miscreants such as themselves. That is true. We got $2 from Christopher Bouchard. Another $2 says, have a good day. Thank you, brother, so much for dropping those. I appreciate you very, very much. I played everything that there is to play. What else we got? There we go.
Hail to the king, baby.
This is a great point by the beam pad. Says Kali is able to show their biggest fears. We'll see what Vecna fears the most. I didn't think about that, but that's a great point. And maybe that's how we'll figure out what the hell happened to him in that cave that he is so fearful of. So there's some interesting things that are going to happen going forward. Yeah, true villains. Let's keep the true villains.
You got
Let's
them
go.
right here.
That's right. We're going to keep them alive for you. This is exactly what we're going to do.
Bully in 2026.
I like that. I like that. Top fans, Christopher Bouchard is number 1. I believe that's not going to change anytime soon. So I'm going to add you to the winning column and get your 9th or your 10th victory. 1 away from Rick Saylor. 1 away from Rick Saylor. It is coming down to the wire. Stage Plays was trying to redeem Henry's character. Stage Play. Who's Stage Play?
I don't know.
Was trying to redeem Henry's character.
Did they make a play of this already?
I don't know. Well, hopefully that doesn't. I'm telling you, hopefully it doesn't happen. I saw a couple people theorizing on it, and I was just like, to me, that takes everything that you built up throughout the entire season. The kidnapping of Will, which we find now in season 5, is directly related to Vecna. That answer or that question has been answered now. Everything that he's done that has resulted in the deaths of all of the characters that have died throughout the seasons. It's just it's unredeemable. I'm sorry, it's just unredeemable, and it's got to stay that way. Keep him a bad guy because he's a cool ass bad guy, and keep it that way. We need good bad guys. Let's go. I'm gonna be on Comicsgate Kings tomorrow night. I missed last week. Wasn't feeling all that great, but I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get back in the saddle again and do some drawings. So check it out tomorrow at 7 p.m. or thereabouts on Ethan Van Sciver's channel. Then be back here on Tuesday for the Spawn review. We're going to be looking at what, Sean?
I don't know, Viking Spawn, Medieval Spawn, whatever it is. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot.
Have you even read it yet?
I haven't read it.
Read it first.
There's a lot of words in there.
Spawn, The Dark Ages.
Yes.
By Liam Sharp. We're going to be looking over on Tuesday. I got thoughts, but I'm gonna wait till we get there. Good art, though. Good art.
Great. Yeah, I don't want to read it, but I will because I'm a team player.
That's right. That's right. JD says Vecna will not be redeemed. He's a bad guy. Yes, let's keep it that way. I agree. Sheldon Martin for $5 says bad time don't last. Bad guys do. Scott Hall. Shout out to the bad guy. Absolutely. Then Otten stuff. We're going to be looking at the newest issue of Hush coming up this Thursday. And I do believe, do we have a guest on?
I hope not. I'm sorry.
We do have a guest.
Fuck.
Jared. This guy, he has a campaign over
making sandwiches or he's fucking out of here.
Over on Instagram. Good guy. Been on the show before. He's going to jump on with us. We're going to talk some Hush. And then we'll be back here. Ronan Joe show next Sunday at 10 p.m. I'm going to try to get more on track here with your shows because we only have a certain amount of shows left before the end of the year. I want everybody to have a chance to win this major prize that we got going on the leaderboard that right now Christopher Bouchard and Rick Saylor are duking it out to the final end. I love it. Hush, watch your mouth. I don't like that. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us, starting the week out here in the Ronan Joe show. Thank you to Christopher Bouchard. Let me give shout outs here. I need to start doing this more. Thank you to JD, Christopher, and Sheldon Martin for dropping super chats tonight. Appreciate you guys very, very, very much. Guys, we're going to get out of here. Who's Scott Hall? Who's Scott Hall?
What?
Scott Hall was one of the coolest wrestlers to ever live. Razor Ramon in the WWF before it was WWE, and they came over to the WCW. Scott Hall as part of the Outsiders, started the NWO. Yeah, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Win number 10. Yes, shout out to Christopher Bouchard. You are the man. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Go watch Stranger Things season 5. Check it out. Get ready for Christmas Day when they drop the next 3 episodes. It's going to be good. You're not going to regret it. I guarantee it. We're going to get out of here, guys. We appreciate you. Until next time, be good to each other. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked.
We ain't
Peace.
gay.